Hey, welcome aboard to another Dartfish introduction session. Today we're having a look at game analysis, and I wanted to give you a really quick indication of the kinds of things that you can do with game analysis using software programs such as Dartfish. So let's have a quick look at the kinds of things that you can do as an output. So what I want to show you is a few different options. The first one we're going to have a look at here is a file that's a Dartfish file called a media book. So, a few things to look at. First of all, we've got a title, Brett AFL Game Review. We've got a logo, and that can be a logo of anything that the students want to put on there. Could be their Facebook page, it could be a YouTube channel they have. And this is student-led, of course. You can also have a link to the image that is there. Here I've got a video window. You can see this is my analysis section, and as I press play on this video window, what you'll see here is that there's been a video created from one student, and that video is basically a highlight package of their game, and we're going to have a closer look at this in a minute, but you can see that this is a whole entire game. Now, down here we have what's called our key positions, so the key position information within this game. So as I left mouse click on each one of these key position pictures, you'll notice that up here there's a comment box, which is a comment box that, and these are being teacher comments, by the way, a comment box that talks about the actual skill that has occurred. And here there's a folder where there is also the opportunity to have an oral comment. In this example, we see the student gain the ball, gain possession of the ball after it. So when I click on that comment, the actual oral comment will also appear. Now I can scroll through, and each one of these individual pieces of play will, each time I click on one of these links, will go to that piece of play, and the comments that the teacher or the student creates appear in this comment box. And if we drag that along, you'll see there are multiple ones of these, some of them with an oral comment, some of them without. And this is a way that you could potentially have your kids break down a whole game and add comments and annotations to that game if that was something that you wanted to do. So there's an end option for you. What I'll show you now is some other options that are end results. So let's have a look, for example. Now, cricket is a great example where there is a whole entire game, and that game continues on, might take the better part of 5 or 6 hours. Let's say that you wanted to look at one particular aspect of that game. So in this example, we want to look at the young fellow Nick, who was in year 10, and this is all of the deliveries that he bowled during this game of cricket. So if you have a look through here, you'll see that what we've done is we've been able to edit out every delivery that Nick has bowled, and then Dartfish has exported them all out and stitched them all together as one video file. So we now have Nick's whole bowling spell with all of his deliveries edited out one after the other. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that once you can create this possibility, the students are watching their own game, editing their own game. It can be a game at school that is in a phys ed department. It can be a game they've played external to school, which is what this one was here that you're watching. Or it could be a game that the kids have played for school, so a school game. So whichever way that you wanted to have that, and the kids will edit out the little bits of information that were important to them. Of course, it's not just individual students that you might want to edit out. There could be a particular part of a game. So let's have a look at an AFL example here. And in this particular example, we've got all of the boundary throw-ins for a game. So again, this time as a coaching tool, editing just pieces of information that were important to the particular game. And in this particular example, it's every one of the boundary throw-ins. Now, the boundary throw-ins have all been set to about a 20-second delay. So you'll see the positioning before the boundary throw in, the boundary throw in itself, and we actually will have each boundary throw in one after the other put through as an individual video file. So there's a bit of an example of how it can look. Let's now go into tagging and I'll show you exactly how it all works. So here is a standard tagging screen. This is in the game analysis section within Dartfish. This is available in the teacher and in the student versions. Classroom Plus. The teacher has it as standard. And I've got a really simple basic tagging panel over here. So what this tagging panel has is one player. And you can see we've got John. The stat type, and we've got a game of netball here, so we've got pass, shot, run to position, playing defense, and the outcome, good or poor. Now, let me show you how simple it is to tag first of all. So we're going to play this game, and what we're going to do, I'll just advance forward a little bit. We're going to tag this player here as our John. So I click on the button for John, and this value that you see here, it's what's called a persistent value. So everything that I now tag will go under the name of John, the player John. So let's see how we go. So first of all, we've got John passing, and that pass was good. John's now running to position. Now we've got John with the ball, having a shot, and I consider that shot to be poor. At any stage, we can pause the video, remembering that we're just watching John here. Okay, so we've paused the video, and one of the things I want you to take note of is that as I'm tagging, this little event list over here is being filled up. So it's filling the information with what it is that John has done. So let's continue along, do a little bit more tagging. So here's John again. He's now just received the ball. He's having a shot, and I'm going to call that one poor again, based purely on the outcome. So you can see for an individual student to tag their game, and they would all be doing this. So every single one of these kids could be doing their own tag, or they could do it in groups of 2 or 3 or 4, whatever works for you. And they can all be tagging their game, getting their game together. So I'll pause there. I'm going to continue tagging this game for a little while, and I'll come back to you in a minute when I've tagged a few more events and show you what we can do. Welcome back. So you can see that we have we've had about 10 minutes worth of video, and in that 10 minutes I've just gone ahead and I've tagged John's game, and there's been some interesting things that I found. So let's have a look at what we can now do with game analysis software. First of all, we can have a look at John's game by clicking on the Search Events tab, clicking on Table, choosing the player, and our player is John, and our player versus the statistic type. So we can see for the game, John had 3 passes, played defense 4 times, run to position 10 times, and had 6 shots. Or we can have a look at the actual stat type versus the outcome. So he passed, good 2, poor 1. Running position, 6 times good, poor once. Shot, 0 good, 6 poor. So the power of the software is now starting to come out, because let's have a look at what's happened. First of all, the student has participated in a game. Brilliant. And just watching the game, John ran around, was very active, got a great deal of activity from the class. Then when we sit down and John looks at his game, we start to look at the things that he can work on as far as his physical performance goes. So there's great buy-in from the kids, first of all, because they are so fascinated and so interested in watching what they're doing. And then you add a few basic statistics for them to be able to tag, such as pass, shot, run to position, playing defense, and then an outcome that they've got to make a subjective decision about. And then you suddenly get a whole range of statistical information that you can start to work with, which is brilliant. Now, the other thing that you can then do is say, well, okay, we know that John had 6 shots at goal. And we know that when we actually looked at the outcome of those 6, 6 of them were actually poor. So shots on goal, good, 0, 6 poor. Now let's have a look at what the software can tell us. If we now search or sort via clicking on the top of this table here, we can see the 6 shots that John had. Let's have a look at each of them. I double click and the first one will appear. So here's shot number 1 and we had a miss. We can instantly scroll to the next video, which is shot 2 and a miss. We can instantly scroll to the next video, which is our shot 3, good position made, but a miss. And now we scroll again to a couple of minutes later where we get to have the next shot and another miss. And here is another shot and we'll see another miss. Now what the software will allow us to do is go back and play, have a look at the patterns, allow the students to go back and engage with what it was that they had done. And then they can become responsible for what it is that they need to improve. Now, if we wanted to, we could actually go back, have a look at any of John's shots and break them down. Take them through one frame at a time. And I can do that by clicking on my Frame Advance tool here. Is there something that we can pick up in the technique? So there's a whole range of options with regard to what your students are able to do. If you want them to export each of these shots out, they can do that. They can select each of the shots. So we choose each shot. And then we choose this button here, which is our Add Events to Storyboard. We choose the selected events. Let's clear the storyboard in Dartfish. And what I'm now able to do is have each of those individual shots exported out of Dartfish and put into the Dartfish storyboard module. So here we are with each of the 6 shots that John had. If I wanted to create a little media book, which is what we saw earlier, I click on this tab here and then I just follow the Dartfish wizard to creating a media book, which is nice and easy, and you can make a media book to email, to save on your computer, to put onto Dartfish TV, to put on our website. Or alternatively, I just click straight on here and I make a movie, and that will allow me to instantly make a movie of all of those images, and that'll put them all together, as you saw earlier with our young guy playing cricket. The other thing that I can do, which I really enjoy, is I can start to annotate on the screen. So if I wanted to start putting some images on the screen and being interactive with the screen, I can start to do that as well. So highlighting different areas of the screen, or possible as well. So a lot of different things that you're able to do. I trust this gives you a really nice insight into the Dartfish game analysis and how it can be used for students to be able to create individual highlights of games for their own ability to move forward in PE. Look forward to seeing you on the next one of these, and I hope you enjoyed this one.